Okay, so thank you for leaving your details on the previous page. As I mentioned, my name is Malcolm Pennington, and my background is in real estate. In fact, I started promoting properties in Spain back in the late 80s. That's over 30 years ago, when properties were very cheap. In fact, I can give you an example. Land in Spain with planning permission to build a golf course, which is about 1 million square meters worth, was selling for 6 pesetas a square metre. There were 240 pesetas to the pound, so that's the equivalent of being able to buy land suitable for golf course construction. And here we are on a golf course where the developers were able to buy that land for just the equivalent in today's money, 2.5 cents per square metre. So let's face it, that was the right time to buy land in Spain, of course, when it was cheap. And those people who had the foresight to recognise that Spain was going to be one of the most popular, if not the most popular, for people buying second homes abroad, at least for Europeans, then those people have made absolute fortunes. And over those years, me and my team, we've sold thousands of properties in Spain. In fact, we were nominated by The Which magazine in the UK as the best property company in Spain, providing property viewing tours. Now, this video is not about real estate. The reason I talk about real estate is because it's my background. However, real estate is a very credible industry, and many people believe that in terms of making money and in terms of investing and getting a return on investment, that real estate has proven over many years to be perhaps the best investment out there for getting the very best returns. But I'm here to prove that theory completely wrong, because on this video I'm going to show you a new payment system, a new digital currency system. That's right, it's completely digital, and this digital currency system is being accepted around the world as an acceptable form of payment. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to sit down in fact to explain more about what this is, because if you decide to take my recommendation and get involved in digital currency, the returns on your investment, which can be as little as 90 euros by the way, in fact, tell a lie, it can be as little as 50 euros, can be absolutely huge. So let me take a seat and I'll explain why. Okay, now for the purpose of this video, and I'll take these glasses off for this, I'm going to talk about my 3 debit cards. Okay, 3 debit cards. These debit cards are all Visa debit cards. So this one is my Visa debit card I've got with my UK bank account called Barclays. Okay, so that's my Visa debit card from the UK. The yellow one is another Visa debit card I've got, and this is with my Spanish bank. So this is based on euros. But this one, this black and red one, is my favourite Visa debit card. So why is that? Well, they all do exactly the same thing. I can take those Visa debit cards anywhere in the world where Visa is accepted, or I can take any of those cards to any ATM machine anywhere in the world and withdraw money in the local currency. But why is this one my favourite? Well, because this is my Bitcoin Visa debit card, and when I use this in any restaurant, in any hotel, or I use this to withdraw money from any ATM machine, I'm actually reducing my Bitcoin balance. So before I go any further, let me explain basically what Bitcoin is. I've been involved, as I mentioned, I've been involved in real estate for the last 30 years. But as far as digital currency is concerned, I've actually been involved now for 3 years. And when I first came across Bitcoin, I probably knew what you know now. In fact, you probably know more at the moment than I knew 3 years ago. I didn't know a single thing about what Bitcoin was. But I was fascinated, and I wanted to know more. But basically what this is, it's a digital form of payment that you can use as a form of payment to send to anyone, anywhere in the world, that will arrive as fast as an email. Now, if you're going to send a payment to anyone, anywhere in the world, what would you prefer to do? Would you prefer to take, 3 or 4 days for that money to arrive, or would you like it to arrive in seconds like it typically does do when you send an email? Well, obviously you prefer to send it and receive in seconds. Well, that's what this is. You can send any kind of payment to anyone, anywhere in the world, provided they have a Bitcoin account, and that money will arrive literally within seconds. And the exciting thing about this is it's free, completely free, to set up what we call a Bitcoin wallet. Now, if you want to send an email, the first thing you need to do, of course, is you need to have an email account. And most people, of course, have got a free email account. You might have an email account with Yahoo, it might be Hotmail, it might be Gmail. But until you've got that email account, you can't send an email to anyone. And ask the question about your email. Have you found that email account useful? Well, of course you have. And I'm telling you that you're going to find a Bitcoin wallet account just as useful as your email. And with that Bitcoin wallet, you can send Bitcoin. So you're sending Bitcoin from your account to anyone who wants to accept Bitcoin. But equally, you can use this card anywhere without even mentioning Bitcoin, because if they accept Visa, then they will accept this card. So that explains how it works. As I mentioned, it's free to set up one of these Bitcoin wallets, and I've got 4 or 5 different Bitcoin wallets. But the one that I recommend is one called Xapo, and that is where I got this card from. And that's one of the reasons which I recommend Xapo. Xapo is spelled X-A-P, that's P for Peter, O for Oscar, Xapo.com. So if you go to Xapo.com, then you can register a free Bitcoin wallet account, and you can actually request one of these Visa debit cards, which do in fact cost €18 and €1 a month to maintain the use of this card, and it will arrive at your home address within about 3 days. So that's Xapo.com. You can also have an application on your smartphone so that you can access your Bitcoin wallet at any time, 24 hours a day. I'm also going to give you another reason, and perhaps this is one of the main reasons why I'm also involved with Bitcoin, and I'll tell you what that is. This actually goes up in value. That's right, it goes up in value. Ask yourself the question, do you think your euros are going up in value? No, they're not. Do you think your pounds are going up in value, or are your dollars going up in value? No, they're all going down in value due to inflation. So why not have a free Bitcoin wallet? Why not transfer some of your euros or your pounds, or maybe your dollars, or whichever currency that you're actually using right now, into your Bitcoin wallet, and watch the value of your Bitcoin appreciate rather than fall in value? So how does that work? Well, the first thing that people want to know is, why is Bitcoin appreciating? Well, Bitcoin, by nature of what it is limited in supply, and it always will be limited. And what you have when you've got a limited supply of anything with a growing global demand? It wouldn't matter if it was an antique, it could be jewellery, it could be a work of art, it might be a collector's car, it could be anything that's in limited supply or even unique, with a growing global demand, and the value will appreciate. And that's the same with this Bitcoin. This is very, very limited in supply. When production has finished, and it hasn't finished as yet, I believe there's going to be 21, 16, I think it's 21 million Bitcoin in circulation around the world, and that obviously means it's going to be very limited. I think at the moment there's something like 16 million Bitcoin around the world, but they're still in the production phase of this Bitcoin. But let me give you an example. Bitcoin was introduced in 2009 and it had never been seen before. It was the first digital currency. And since then, in fact, we've now got something like 700 different digital currencies. And we're going to have webinars in the future talking about some of these other digital currencies. But this one, I'm talking about Bitcoin, was introduced in 2009, and because nobody understood it, it had zero value. In fact, when it first started, people called it a scam, they called it all kinds of things, but it's simply because they didn't understand it. In 2010, people started to understand it a little bit, and it had a value of 10 cents. If you want to have a look at the trading history of Bitcoin, you can go to a very good website, which is coindesk.com. If you look at the top right of coindesk.com, it quotes the value of Bitcoin in dollars, pound sterling, euros and Japanese yen. And if you do a double click on that price, a graph will appear where you can see the price movements and the all-time history of Bitcoin. So basically, if you'd have found out about this Bitcoin in 2010, and let's say you would have thought it was a good idea, you didn't fully understand it, but you thought it sounded like a good idea, and you perhaps decided to open a Bitcoin wallet, and let's assume you decided to transfer maybe €1,000 or maybe $1,000 into your Bitcoin wallet. It means that you would have acquired 10,000 Bitcoin because they're only 10 cents each. So for every dollar, you'd have had 10 Bitcoin, and if you'd have invested $1,000, you'd have had 10,000 Bitcoin. Today's value, and we're now talking of July in fact, July of 2017, the price today is just over $2,500 a coin, which means that little account that you set up in 2010 would now have a value in excess of $25 million. Now, can you think of any real estate that you might have been able to buy in 2010 for $1,000 that's worth $25 million today? Well, I certainly can't. So, does that answer your question as to whether Bitcoin and digital currency is a good investment? Well, I think it does. But your argument might be, perhaps it's too late. Well, I'm going to answer that, because if you do a little bit of research on YouTube or on the internet, you'll find that the leading financial experts, and let me quote some names, I'm talking about Richard Branson, for example, I'm talking about Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft. Some of these people are quoting that, in their opinion, the value of this Bitcoin is going to continue appreciating up to $1 million a coin. In fact, some say as much as between $3 and $5 million a coin. Okay, so that is every reason why you need to open a Bitcoin wallet with our help. That's either my help or the person who referred you to this video. They will show you how to set up a Xapo account, how to get one of these cards, and if those predictions are proven to be correct, the value of your investment is going to appreciate better than it's going to appreciate in any other form of investment that we've ever seen in history. Now then, below this video, on the bottom left, there's a little link. If you click on that where it says Bitcoin mining, we've actually associated ourselves with what we call a Bitcoin mining pool. It's a company called BitClub Network. Now, BitClub Network are now in the top 10 of the world's largest and most successful Bitcoin mines or Bitcoin mining pools. And what they do is they pool the investments of all the people who want to be actively involved in the mining and the production of Bitcoin. They started 3 years ago, and I started just a few months after they got launched. So that was good timing on my part. And they've now got a 45-acre site in Reykjavik in Iceland. And the reason they've located there is because they can use all that renewable energy that they have in Iceland, and it keeps the computers and the hardware very cool, because that equipment produces a lot of heat in the production of Bitcoin. Now, with with that opportunity with BitClub Network, you can purchase shares in the mining operation, and if you click on that link, it will show you exactly how it all works. And you don't have to do any recruiting or any selling, and you get paid every day. You get a share of the daily profits paid to you in Bitcoin. So I'd like you to click on that link below this video to find out all about Bitcoin mining, and there's also a video that will show you exactly how to complete the steps that are necessary to obtain your Visa debit card with Xapo. So that's the first step. Click on the link below the video to watch all about BitClub Network and how to be involved in Bitcoin mining. Now, the link in the center below this video, that is called Bitcoin trading. Now, we've also aligned ourselves with a very successful company which has been established for 8 years, and those are now based in Dubai, and they've got an 8-year track record of providing the highest returns to their investors with automated trading on the financial markets. But quite recently they've introduced what they call Bitcoin packages, which means you can purchase a Bitcoin package for as little as 50 euros, and they are generating a return on your investment of around about 1% a day, 5 days a week. So that's about 5% per week on your Bitcoin. So they are now trading with automated software, not on the financial markets as such, but they're trading in the cryptocurrency markets. And that's how you can be involved with Bitcoin trading. And the minimum outlay is just 50 euros, and you can buy as many of those packages as you wish. So to find out how Bitcoin trading works, where you require no skill whatsoever, just click the link in the center there below this video. And finally, the link on the right there, the one that is called Bitcoin Investing, we've associated ourselves with another successful company which have been established for 8 years, and their head office is in Madrid. They've got offices around the world. They are licensed and regulated to do business, and they have 25 fund managers, and you can invest with that company and invest as little as 90 euros. In fact, anywhere between 90 euros and 5 million euros. And you can make your investment in Bitcoin, which is why we call it Bitcoin investing. So the money that you're actually earning is paid in euros, but you can fund your account in Bitcoin, and you can also withdraw your profit in Bitcoin also. And that particular company are averaging anywhere between 4% and 7% per week on your investment. So really, to put that into a nutshell, we've got the 3 main areas of investment. We've got Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin trading, and Bitcoin investing. And I recommend you get yourself involved with all 3. However, if you're like I was when I first started and you're a little bit skeptical, I recommend you put your toe in the water and perhaps start with Questra with an outlay of 90 euros. If you want to start with UCTech as well, which is the trading company, then do so by all means. But do what you can afford. Recognise that it is an investment, it is speculative, but I've already given you every reason why this is going to be the best investment you possibly ever make in your lifetime. And just to finish off with, I'm just going to give you a scenario. You remember when I was talking to you that the financial experts have predicted that the value of this Bitcoin is probably going to rise up to $1 million a coin. Of course, some say between 3 and 5 million. But let's imagine that prediction was correct. And let's imagine it didn't go to $1 million a coin. Let's say it went to $250,000 a coin. And let's say it didn't happen in 5 years, but let's say it took 10 years. Okay? Well, the value today of Bitcoin is $2,500 a coin. If the price of Bitcoin went to $5,000 a coin, that would be a 100% return on your investment. If it went to $250,000 a coin, that would be 100 times your investment. So what are we talking in terms of percentage? Well, if it doubled, that would be 100%. So really we need to multiply 100 by 100. And that means your investment in Bitcoin, if it appreciates up until the point of $250,000 a coin, means you'll be seeing a return on investment of 10,000%. So let's imagine that takes not 5 years, but it takes 10 years. It means your investment is going to show you a return on average of 1,000% per annum. That's 10,000 divided by 10. That's 1,000% per annum. And what does that work out on a weekly basis? It's about 20% a week. Okay, so can you think of anything in this world where without any selling, without any recruiting, and without anything technical or complicated, that you can generate a return of investment of around about 20%? Obviously not. And that is why these experts are quoting that digital currency has already proven to be the best investment in the history of the world. Now, if you're as excited about this opportunity as I am, then the likelihood is you'll want to go and tell other people. It might be friends, it might be family, it might be business acquaintances. You might even want to do what I'm doing, which is make a business out of it. And if you do that with all these three opportunities, that's with mining, with trading, and with investing, we can provide you the same marketing tool that we use, this same video, this same marketing funnel. Just speak to the person who referred you, and it won't be difficult for you to generate, shall we say, $1,000 a week. You could potentially earn $1,000 a week from mining, from trading, and from investing. In fact, we've got people who make 10 times that. We've got people who make a lot more than that. But let's assume, with some effort, with some consistency, some belief, over the next, perhaps over the next 2 or 3 years, you can build up a weekly income of $1,000 a week with Bitcoin mining. What does that mean in reality? Well, you're getting paid that $1,000 in Bitcoin. And we've already spoken that potentially Bitcoin is going to multiply in value by 100 times. So that means that in reality, if you're earning $1,000 a week in commission, it's not really $1,000 a week. It's actually 1,000 multiplied by 100. You're actually earning $100,000 a week on a simple business, explaining what we're doing right now and talking about Bitcoin mining. If you can do the same with Bitcoin trading and start earning $1,000 a week, that represents another $100,000 a week. And if you do the same thing with Bitcoin investing and you're earning $1,000 a week, that's another $100,000 a week. That's $300,000 a week you can be generating simply through the appreciation in the value of Bitcoin. Now, I think today, with these three cards, and especially with this Bitcoin, I've shown you why we believe Bitcoin and digital currency is the best investment in the history of the world, and why you should get involved today. So I'd like to thank you for your time. I'd like to thank you for your interest, but do, of course, take action. You'll find when you watch those three videos that we're talking about three very, very, very credible organisations. So the only thing that you have to question is your level of commitment. But if you are serious, do take action, do register an account with these 3 firms, and do make your particular investment. So as I say, I'd like to thank you for your interest. Have a great day, and I look forward to speaking to you again in due course. Thanks again. Speak to you soon.